Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? This your girl Tanya. I am coming to you with a video to take you along with my journey on buying a house. It's my first time buying a house. I'm doing research, I'm looking up things, I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. So I figured I would take you along with me in case someone else is going through the same thing, or someone else may be going through the same thing a couple of months down the road or whatever. You can learn from my mistakes. You can learn from what I've been doing or trying to do and see what's going on. I'm sorry, I'm new to this. I'm technologically challenged, so please forgive me of my camera work, my lighting work, my everything. So I'm new to YouTube. I do these Money Monday lives on Facebook and Instagram. I've been doing them since January of 2020 and have been doing them every Monday. As there has been a couple of Mondays where I had to skip. One, I don't do them on a holiday, and two, my uncle passed away from the coronavirus, and I had to be with my family in North Carolina for 2 weeks, which leads me to me purchasing a home. So, let me just tell you my story real quick. I'm gonna try and be brief and be quick because I know when I watch videos, I'm like, just get to it. I don't need to see 10-15 minutes of your story before you get into it. Okay, so I was laid off at the end of 2019 from a job that I've had for 10 years that I really liked, was making really good money with, and they laid us off. Well, first I moved from North Carolina to Maryland. I've been in Maryland for 11 years. This will be my 11th year in Maryland, and I had decided a couple of years ago that I was thinking about going back to North Carolina, but I was thinking about going to another city instead of the actual city that I'm from. But then I got laid off 2019, and in 2019 I'm like, I had kind of thought about it again, but then I went into like a depression about being laid off and not knowing what I was gonna do, even though I was always working a side hustle, whatever. It just really put me into a depression. And then fast forward to 2020, COVID hit and all this kind of stuff. And, I'm like, you know what? I should just move back home. My parents are getting older. It's just me and my sister. So my sister was having to deal with a lot of things with my mom and dad. And I just felt bad that I was putting all the burden on her. So I'm like, you know what? I need to just move back to my hometown and just move back there. So me being the last moment person that I am, I decided at the last minute to move. My lease is going to be up October the 31st, and I said, you know what, I don't want to renew my lease. F it, I'm gonna move. Not knowing anything about buying a house or the market or anything like that. Let me tell you, when I left North Carolina 10 years ago, 11 years ago, you could get a mini mansion. I'm talking about a mini mansion for like $200,000. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I started looking into stuff and I'm like, wait a minute. They want $200,000 for the hood? Are y'all the hood? Are y'all serious? So what's been happening? I found my real estate agent because one of my cousins is a real estate agent. She's been doing it for over 20 years. My mom used her to buy her condo like over 20 years ago. I'm sorry about my phone. I forgot. I thought I had put it on silent, but I guess I didn't. But I knew she was good and everything like that. So she told me the last 5 years, everybody has been moving down to North Carolina and snatching up everything. And because they're coming from the north, they're used to paying expensive prices, high prices for rent and stuff, or mortgages and stuff. When it's not like that with the people that's local to North Carolina. They're not used to paying those prices, so they're paying those prices, driving everybody out of the city and like into the outskirts of the city, into more country area. So I'm like, okay, I can deal with something that's 20 minutes from the city or whatever. That's fine. So the first thing I did when I started my hunt was I started researching how do I find a lender? Should I use a broker? Should I use a loan officer? I was getting different feedback from, yeah, do it this way, or yeah, do it that way, or I didn't know. And so what I did was I did find out that, it's good to shop around, but you want to shop around and apply within 2 to 3 weeks for different lenders. so it doesn't do anything to your credit, make it go down because of all the inquiries and things like that. They will just see that, okay, yeah, you're shopping around for a home mortgage, so we're not going to really do anything to your credit score. So that's what I did. I applied to a couple of my banks that I'm with. I applied to a couple of programs that said they could get me down payment assistance. I applied to so those were the first couple of places that I applied for at first. Then my next step was go ahead and finding my real estate agent. Like I said, my cousin was my real estate agent. Signed the paperwork with her to become my real estate agent, and told her what I wanted. What I want will be different from what you want, but you need to sit down and figure out, what do you want in a home. So, because I thought I wanted one thing and then come to find out that I need something else. So this is what happened. So when I told my family I was moving back, they was all happy and overjoyed, and just, they've been trying to get me to move back since I moved. They never wanted me to leave. But sometimes you got to spread your wings. If you feel like you're being stifled, or feel like there's nothing for you where you at, or if you've never been anywhere, and that was me in my case. I had never been anywhere, lived anywhere outside of North Carolina, and I had just got a divorce, and I'm like, you know what? I just want to start over somewhere else. I have a lot of family in Maryland, so I said, you know what? At least if I move to Maryland, if I need something, I have family right there. So that was my decision on moving to Maryland. So now that I'm looking for a home, I thought I was looking for one thing, and then my daughter calls me one day and say, "Oh, Grandma said she's moving in with you when you move." I'm like, that's news to me. So I call up my mom. I'm like, yeah, a little birdie told me that you're planning on moving in with me. She's like, oh, that little birdie must have been Katie. I said, yes, Katie told me. She was like, well, once you moved here, I was going to ask you if it would be okay if I moved in with you. I'm like, Ma, that's no problem. But if you're going to move in with me, then I have to change my whole mindset of the type of housing that I'm looking for. Because my mom is older. Her knees are bad, so she walks really slow, and she can't really step up or anything. She can't do the stairs and things like that. So I'm like, okay, so I either have to find a 2-story with a bedroom on the bottom, or I have to find a ranch. Now, let me tell you, the reason why I didn't really want to go with a ranch is because unless you have a lot of land to spread out, ranches are not that big. Some of them you can get the square footage that you need, but like I said, you need the land so it can be spread out. And so that was going to be a difficult thing. And then sometimes a lot of 2-story homes, even though they have the space, a lot of them don't come with the bedroom on the bottom unless it's a master bedroom. And I'm like, okay, I'm paying for this house, so I'm definitely getting the master. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I'm definitely getting the master. So I'm like, okay. So I told my real estate agent, okay, I need a ranch. If I do a ranch, I want at least 1,800 or more square feet. If I do a 2-story, then I need something on the bottom, on the main floor, that I can turn into a bedroom. And I need a full bath on the bottom floor, which another thing is something else to add on. So it started being very difficult for me to find that, and I didn't want a house that was 20 years or plus older. Like I said, you have to think about all this stuff. You need to write down a list. I have a checklist. You need to write down a list of the must-haves, not the different things that you may want, like whether you have an island in the kitchen or things like that. I'm talking about the must-haves. So my must-haves was, if I get a ranch, I need 1,800 square feet or better. Or if I get a 2-story home, I need a room on the bottom floor that I could make a secondary bedroom, and I would need a full bath on the bottom floor, not the half bath. Because a lot of times in 2-story houses, they have 2.5 baths with the half bath on the main floor, your little powder room. But my mom wouldn't be able to get up the stairs to go to the full bath in order to take a shower or bath or whatever. So it was becoming difficult. And then my daughter was like, well, why don't you ask Grandma, would she would she do a chairlift? And I'm like, you know what? I forgot about, you can get a chairlift. So I said, you know what? Okay, that opens the door up to more options. So I told my real estate agent, I said, okay, all the rooms can be upstairs. I just need to have it where the stairwell is sufficient enough to be able to install a chairlift. So they opened the doors up, and then she said, hey, they are doing a lot of building in this town over here because people have to move out of the city. They're pushing people out of the city. So now they're going to the outskirts, and now they're building a lot of houses here. And it's only 20 minutes from the city. I'm like, okay, I know, I mean, I don't know the area, but I know the town. I'm familiar with the town. I'm like, okay, I could go for that. But then you have to start thinking, though, if it's a new build, it's gonna take time to build a house. And remember, I have to be out here. That's why I'm sorry. That's why you see my boxes and everything in the background, because I've already started packing up. I have to be out of here October 31st, which is in a couple of weeks. But I said I would do a new bill because they said they have some that's becoming available in December, January timeframe. So I was like, you know what? They have a couple of extended stay hotels there. So I'm like, I'll just stay in an extended stay hotel, take all my stuff to a storage, buy storage. I said and when I checked, the extended stay hotel is cheaper than what I'm paying in rent here, so that's fine. My storage would be cheaper than the storage that I'm paying because I'm already paying storage rent here, so it'd be cheaper. So I'm like, that's fine. So now I found a couple of different builders that has what I need. So now that I've gotten some pre-qualification letters from a couple of these lenders, I'm finding, around about the housing I can afford. I can afford 250. Maybe I can go a little bit above 250. But let me tell you about that price. Just because you can afford something, you still need to look at what your payment will be, and you have to factor in insurance, taxes, HOA dues if you go into a community to have HOA fees. All those things have to factor into what you have to pay out a month for your mortgage. And I really didn't want to go to 250, even though I could go. And I'm by myself. I'm single. I'm a single person on a single income. And I really don't want to go over 50 unless I absolutely have to. But I want to stay under 250. And so all the speculations or whatever that I have on what I'm looking for may make it a little more difficult for me to find something. However, you have to get what you want. This is not a starter home for me. I will be 50 years old next year. So this is not a starter home for me. This home is basically going to be my forever home. So I want to make sure I get at least 90% of what I'm looking for in a house. The other 10% that I don't actually get, hopefully I can build and get later. You know what I mean? Like if it doesn't come with an island, even though I want an island in my kitchen, I can get an island later on. I can do my own island. One of the things that I wanted for me personally was like the master bath suite where they have the separate garden tub and the separate shower. Some builders are not doing that these days, or of course it's an option and they want like $5,000 extra to convert it that way. And I'm like, okay, I can do without that. That's not a must have. I can do without it. So that's what I'm saying. You have to know what are your must-haves. Write a list of what your must-haves so you can tell the real estate agent exactly what you want, because there's no need for her or him going out looking for all this stuff for you and coming back to you with a list of things, and you're looking at them and you're like, oh no, I don't want that. I don't need that. Da, da, da. And I also knew that I wanted a house with a garage, whether it's one car or two car. I knew I wanted a garage. I did not want a house that didn't have a garage, because I need the storage. Because number one, I coupon. I coupon, and I'm a crafter. So, we need the space. I need to stack some shelves. So, find your lender. And if you're going to apply with a couple of different lenders, make sure you apply with all of them within 2 to 3 weeks. Also, when you're looking for a new builder, a lot of times you have to apply with their lender, because they will give you they would give you stuff towards closing costs. Like a couple of builders that I looked at, they would give me up to $6,000 in closing costs. They'll also, some of them had a $3,000 design-in package if you want some upgrades on some of your designs. So you have to keep that in mind as well. So you have to keep in mind also what you need money-wise to come to the table to close. You have to think about that before you start your housing hunt, because even though right now it's a good time to buy because of the low interest rate and everything like that, most lenders still want 3.5% up to 10%, depending on what type of loan that you get, to for a down payment. So luckily, the lenders that I've applied to, they said I can qualify for a FHA loan, and that is only a 3.5% down payment. Some of the other type of loans, other conventional loans or things like that, some of them can go up to 10%, or some of them can be below 3%. So it just depends. Also, you have to think about, okay, well, what do I need for closing costs? Right now, it's a seller's market. So sellers are not paying any closing costs. Used to, back in the day, I've heard that, sellers would pay closing costs. Sellers are not paying closing costs right now because they know they don't have to. But with the new bill, like I said, some of them are giving you $6,000 or whatever towards closing costs. So you want to look at all that. So you need to calculate after you get your, or before you even start, you need to start saving for your down payment and closing costs. Whatever you think it may be, you can think of a figure in your head, like say, because that's what I did. I said, well, what if I qualify for $200,000? And I started doing my calculations to see how much I would probably need to bring to the closing table. So you can start thinking that way. But you need to have the money that you need to bring to closing before you start looking for a house. You also need to have your credit where it needs to be before you start looking for a house. With credit, a lot of lenders want you to have 570 or better as your middle score. However, and that's for like FHA and things like that. However, some other lenders want you to have like a 640 or better as your middle score. So you need to kind of see where your score needs to be, and you need to get your score there before you can actually go out and try to qualify for a loan, because there's no need to go out and apply for all these lenders and you take a look at your score and your score is like 520. There's no need. You can't really afford to get a house. I mean, there's always some things that you can do to get in a house, but you want to give yourself the best chance possible if you're looking for a house. What else did I want to talk about? Talked about pre-qualification with the lender, finding a real estate agent, being a seller's market right now. Oh, also, you want to add into that down payment and your closing costs. You also want to add in your inspection. You have to get an inspection for your house. You do not want to buy a house without an inspection. I don't even care if it's a new build. My real estate agent told me that even if it's a new build, meaning it's a brand new house that they're building, still get an inspection done, because you never know. Contractors can make mistakes too. Especially if they're trying to rush to get these houses done or anything. They can make mistakes. Always, always, always get an inspection. And an inspection can cost you anywhere between maybe $150 to $300. So you need that done. Some older houses, you may want to get a termite inspection or anything like that. So it's already 18 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here because I don't want to be too long. And I'm going to do a whole series about it. But that's just the basics of what I have been going through so far in my new housing pursuit. And I will keep you posted. This is episode 1 of Follow Me Buying a House. Next time I'll probably talk about I'll talk about how much money I saved for my down payment and how I saved it. I've saved $18,000 to bring to the closing table for buying a house. And next episode, I'll tell you how I did that. So please please subscribe, please comment, ask me any questions that you want to ask me. Let's go through this journey together, because I don't know anything. I've never bought a home before, so I'm just going through the motions. I have my real estate agent to help me out. And I'm also researching things. So yes, thank you for hanging in there with me. And I hope you enjoy the series. Thank you.